Every person
in America is either an immigrant or a descendant
of an immigrant.
People think the first immigrants to come to America were the Native Americans, who are believed to have crossed the land bridge. People have been pouring into America ever since. Between the years of 1855 and 1954, people had to go through immigration stations before entering America.
Who came the immigration station?
Polish,
Irish,
French, Chinese,
Japanese, Mexicans, Armenians, Italians, Greeks,
Russians.
Why they come to America?
It depended on
what was happening in the country.
Some came due to famine.
Some people came for the gold rush and because the stories were getting exaggerated and they thought the streets were paved with gold.
Some came because of earthquakes and other natural disasters.
Some came to avoid warfare. Some came to be with their families.
Some came for free education. Some came for religious freedom. Some came to avoid the military.
Some came because they were kidnapped and made into slaves.
Some came to escape illness. Some came because their crops failed.
People came for cheap land and sometimes false advertisements.
Most came to make a better life by getting a job and being able to support their family.
How did they get here? Who lived were coming from Ellis Island and Angel Island. Where did they end up?
The first and second class were checked by the doctors, then were let go to America. But the third class had to go to Ellis Island and be checked, and they had to go get questioned.
When they arrived at Angel Island, they were separated in 3 groups. One group was the Japanese and other Asians, the other group was Chinese, and the last group was Europeans.
What happened at Ellis Island? The first thing immigrants would do would be getting their luggage out of the luggage room.
A worker can notice where it came from because of the knots and how it looked like.
Doctors would examine you while you walk up the stairs, and if you need further examination, they would write a chalk mark on you, then take you to a hospital room.
Legal inspectors wanted to know,
What is your name?
¿Qué es tu nombre? Baby.
What country do you come from?
¿De qué país eres de? Mexico.
Where were you going?
¿A dónde vas? California.
who paid for your ticket?
¿Quién pagó tu ticket?
Yo.
Him.
Unless you were deported, you would go to the staircase of separation. The right was for the railroad. The left was for the ferry, and straight was for the detention room.
Overall, many people went to America. The stays were fairly short and weren't that bad.
What happened at Angel Island?
Chinese first immigrated to America because of the gold rush, but they had to pay mining taxes.
And had to mine in the abandoned mines.
After the gold rush, they built the Transcontinental Railroad.
And also Chinatowns.
Anger against the Chinese because they were willing to work for low pay and low working conditions. That led to attacks by mobs.
Because of the conflict, the Chinese had to carry papers.
And they made the Chinese exclusion law. In 1906, the San Francisco earthquake and fire caused records to be destroyed. And the Chinese took the chance to claim citizenship for themselves and their family members.
Sometimes the family members weren't theirs.
Paper sons and daughters were only family on paper.
The government knew that the Chinese had paper sons and daughters, so they made the questions at Angel Island extra harder.
How many steps do you have in your house?
20. Did you count? Yeah. How do you know this answer was going to be here? Because someone told me.
People use coaching papers because Angel Island made the questions more difficult, but even if people were honest, some would get deported.
Was difficult. At Angel Island, people wrote poems about
Their time.
and struggle.
I fed on wind and tasted waves. With luck, I arrived safely in the United States. I thought I could land in a few days. How was I to know that I would become a prisoner suffering in this wooden building?
Before the Festival of Reunion, I embarked on the steamship for America. Time was like an arrow shooting through a cool autumn. Counting on my fingers, several months have passed, leaving me still at the beginning of the road. I have yet to be interrogated. My heart is anxious and weary.
Doctors checked us for hookworms. My luck failed. I couldn't go ashore. Why should a young man regard his life so lightly? To whom can I plead for redressing such a grave injustice?
Day after day, a prisoner in this wooden house, my freedom in chains. I can't bear to talk about it. I look around for a happy face among those who only sit in silence.
Anxious and depressed and cannot fall asleep. The days are endless. The bottle always empty, my sadness unrelieved.
The pillow cold, who can comfort my solitude, having drunk so deeply from this well of loneliness and bitterness? Shouldn't I just return home and learn to plow the field?
A bird from landing, fearful of being deported back to China. There is no way for me to face the elders east of the river. I anticipated wealth, but it's only poverty. Alas, that I've reaped. Disembark, husband's hand on the shoulder of his wife. See the Japanese disembark, beaming with pride. Alas, innocent are we Chinese, not allowed to land in America, imprisoned, but why?
What does it mean to be American?
freedom of religion. To be welcoming.
Freedom of speech. Everyone's made equally. Equal rights.
Everyone is treated with respect.
You can get an education.
Freedom of opportunity.
Justice. Dream big.
Able to make a difference.
To have a choice.
To be free.